Hey, everybody, this is Mr. Walton, and welcome to Mr. Walton Social Studies for 2020-2021 school year. If you didn't know, I do teach 7th grade and 7th grade honors world history, 8th grade and 8th grade honors U.S. history. Um, so, I just wanted to go over some important things about my class for our back to school night. Um, if you came to the orientation, you did see a few of these things. About me personally, I'm 56 years old. I have a son, Jake, 21, and daughter, Julia, 22. I love history. My major in college was social sciences with an emphasis in history. I love music and playing music. I've been in 4 bands over the decades, and my current band, called The Chords, which is an 80s cover band, has been playing for 16 years. I'm in my 30th year of education, and that includes 19 years of being an administrator, 10 of those as a high school administrator. So I've actually um, uh, either taught or been an administrator at all grade levels down to kindergarten. This is my 5th year at De Anza, and I have taught all 8th grade on some years and 7th and 8th grade on others. So take a look. This is just kind of some overview material of the course. Just need you to know that discipline does still matter in online learning, and one of the major concerns is called plagiarism, and that is when um, a student will borrow or use another person's work, be it something that someone they know produced or something that they found on the internet, either cut and paste or repurpose it without giving credit to that source and turn it in as their own. Okay, we also call this cheating. And we want to highly discourage students from that. In my class, they are expected to do all of their own original work, or if they're doing some type of research, they have to cite the resources so that they're not ever plagiarizing. Um, we want you to know that the school has parent support through the administration, through our mentors and counselors, as well as teachers. So anytime you need something as a parent, please let me know and all the teachers know, and we want to support you and help you. Communication in regards to students, um, preferably through school loop email or Google Classroom. They can send emails to the teacher. I get both of them on my phone, and I can return them quickly. In terms of parents, please send me as a teacher contact emails through School Loop email, and I even prefer to do phone calls. Attendance matters. Students need to be in class, in every class, including crew, every day. Eventually, them skipping or not going to class, what we used to call in my day ditching, will catch up with them, and they could get administrative consequences as well for not going to school. We want you to know that we are doing full grading this semester, unlike in the spring when we gave comments on the report cards. In terms of the 2 courses I teach, 7th grade world history, it is medieval times through modern medieval times, covering the topics of the Roman Empire, basically the empire of emperors. The Roman Republic was in 6th grade. The Church of the Middle Ages in Europe, the medieval Europe society and culture, the Islamic world, including the world of South Asia, East Asia and Southeast Asia, cultures in themselves, including China and um, the Mongols, the civilizations of the America, which would include the Aztecs, the Mayas, and the Incas, the African civilizations of Western Africa, some of the most advanced and richest civilizations in world history, with the gold that was found there in the medieval and modern times, and the Renaissance and Reformation, times in Europe, and then finally, the end of the year, discovery, meaning that European powers discovered the New World and then they wanted to make it their colonies and create empires. In eighth grade, we will learn about colonial era, U.S. history through progressive era, which is the beginning of the 1900s. So we're basically going from the 1750s and 60s through the end of the 1800s and beginning of the 1900s. We're going to cover the overview of colonial era, the revolutionary time period, the creation of the Constitution, of course, the Declaration of Independence, the time after we became a country and gained our independence called the Early Republic, and then in the 1830s, the Age of Jackson, where politics drastically changed. Then as we got close to the Civil War, the pre-war society of the 1850s, sectionalism, meaning the separation of our nation in half from North and South, and the Civil War era. About 5 years in the early 1860s, the Reconstruction era, let's say about 10 years after the Civil War, where we needed to reconstruct all aspects of our nation. Industrial and economic growth, we call it the Industrial Revolution, and then the Progressive Era. One thing I want you to know about our course in terms of what to expect on a weekly basis, students have about 4 assignments per week, including 1 textbook-based reading guide, probably minimum, 1 ed puzzle, a web page-based video assignment, a current event assignment on CNN 10, and an additional assignment using a variety of other formats. We're looking into getting a great program called CAMI, where students can do, for instance, geography studies and map studies and things like that. Additionally, they will have mini research projects, let's say 1 to 2 or 3 days, and then a major project per semester that we're going to look into how they can do that. That would be, let's say, up to 2 weeks long. The course technology used in my class, for our online course, we will use the following resources. Google Classroom will be the primary platform to get assignments, to get any resources and materials, and also for communication via the messaging system. I can send messages to any individual class or all classes. Then School Loop, where grades are kept, attendance is recorded, and also for School Loop emails, I can give an individual an email, 1 class, or all of my classes an email. The two ways we do that, we're going to use a variety of other programs like Flipgrid, Edpuzzle, and of course, students and me as a teacher need to be familiar getting and learning more and more about the Google suite of programs like Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Forms, etc. I want to encourage you as a parent and students, if you get stuck, do a Google search. How do you transfer a grade in Google Slides? Or, ask a question, and you can find many tutorial videos on YouTube and or questions and answer type blogs or articles that will teach you. So it's just an era where me as a teacher, you as parents and students need to just learn all of this new technology. That's one reason why I think this quarantine might have a silver lining, because students are going to be really forced to learn the technology and their way around the computer world, the technological world, the virtual world, and all these skills will be very much needed when they get to high school, and they will have that edge having learned it. So I think that's a positive as well for the teachers. We're all learning so much, and the world will change when we go back, because students now in our district will have computers 1-to-1, and we'll be assigning more and more things on the computer, which is just the platform for learning of the future. So I think that is a positive aspect to this whole predicament we're in with the quarantine. So how does grading work in my class? Assignments will be posted in Google Classroom, and I will send out memos via Google Classroom or School Loop, GC or SL, to notify them as they are posted. Just today, I notified everyone. I found out I put my document in a form they couldn't edit, so I had to delete them all and repost it. And that's just one of the learning curve issues teachers like me are having. So it's just really helpful for everyone to be flexible, to be patient and understanding as students, make mistakes and teachers make mistakes. Every assignment is going to have a deadline, and after the deadline, if it is turned in late, it'll be 20%. However, for right now, penalties are waived due to the fact that everyone's just getting used to it. I know if I'm struggling trying to get around and learn all these new technologies and learn how to do things, then the students are as well. So I'll let people know when that will be going into effect. Students in my class can revise their work that has previously been submitted, correct it, redo it, and resubmit it to get a higher grade. And then that will also apply to the 20% penalty rule. But for right now, once again, I'm waiving those penalties. So I want to encourage students, let's say they just never turned in an assignment, they can still do it. Let's say even if it's 3 or 4 weeks later, they can still do it because a 0 in their school loop grade point average will really bring their grade low. We want to encourage students to get it done. Parents can help by just keeping track of school loop and helping their students stay on track. Students should regularly check grades in Google Classroom and School Loop and notify me and their other teachers if there are any errors. I just had a student say, hey, Mr. Walton, I did this assignment, but my School Loop says 0. I went back in and double checked, and for one reason or another, I made an error or had not updated it correctly, and it was a 0. So I changed it, and we got up to date. So it's really important for parents and students to check those two formats, Google Classroom and School Loop, regularly. I told my students today, try 3 times a day so that they know everything that they need to do, everything that is due, and everything they've turned in, and to make sure they got the credit that they deserve on the assignments they've turned in. Students will have at least 2 opportunities for extra credit per grading period. I currently have a map offered for extra credit. Students may need to use their creativity to figure out a way to do it. If anyone has access to a printer, oftentimes if students wish, they can print an assignment and do it on paper as a last resort. And in this case, for the extra credit map, that would be a great option. All right, so I have any questions, please feel free to contact me via district email. That's john.walton@omsd.net. Or through the School Loop email. Parents can get their own School Loop, and when we get an email from you, it says parent of, and that's also a great way. If you like, you can provide me a phone number. I will call you back, and we can have a phone conference, which is great. I love that. And even better yet, we can have a private Zoom with parent and student and me, and we can all get a good understanding, be on the same page, so to speak. Oftentimes students say, oh, I didn't have homework, or oh, I didn't have to do that part, or this and that. And if you think, hey, I think this kid's trying to pull a quick one, let's all get together and I can make sure that everyone understands what is expected for any particular assignment. Okay, so I just want to remind you as parents, the district tech support line is 909-687-1036. I know I've called tech support a number of times just in the last couple days, and they are very capable of helping. They'll go on your computer through the internet. They log on and you can see them moving the cursor around, and they're flipping around inside there and doing what they need to do. So that is extremely helpful, and I really appreciate them. And our district is really putting a lot of effort in trying to be very supportive with teachers, with students, and with parents now in this phase of technology. To conclude, please let me know if there's any way I can support you and your student. We're all in this together, and this is something very new. We don't get to see our kids even every day since we're only doing the 2 day a week block scheduling. And then on Tuesdays, we only meet with one period every 6 weeks. So it takes to just have regular contact in between. And I'm encouraging students to do the same. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you for caring very much and being involved in your students' education. And please let us know how we can support, and we'll all work together to make this a successful semester. And hopefully, we'll be back soon to the site for traditional learning. Thank you. Have a great night.